So
be a
that,
good
when
thing.
that's
Go back
flashing,
into lockdown in the fall.
that
I
light
hope
on
you
the
guys
left.
are ready. You guys make a habit of defending totalitarian governments. Did you know the government admits that they censor flat Earth? Do you guys support the government censoring the First Amendment? I thought that my friend said with that. Didn't my friend die for that? Apparently the First Amendment has a stipulation. Unless the government doesn't want you to talk about it. Isn't that pretty antithetical to what the First Amendment says? It's the entire idea is that you can critique the government. Did you guys know the government says they censor flat Earth? That's not weird. But if you Google flat Earth, you will find something called Flat Earth Society. That doesn't get censored. And it doesn't have one real flat earther in it. It's all stupid misinformation that misrepresents what we actually say. Why do they have to lie about what we say if it's actually stupid? Well, it's not stupid. Some of the highest IQ people in the world went out and tested the Earth diligently for years and proved that they lied.
It's just intimidation. They're not going to actually do anything. They just want to stand there.
They get fired from their jobs. I've been kicked off Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Venmo, PayPal. Just for telling people that the Earth is flat. The creator loves them. They don't even cuss. Oh, that's so dangerous. You better kick this guy off PayPal. He's so dangerous. Do you guys support the government for making your companies and censoring people? No, you just don't care until it's you. So who cares if they censor the flat Earth? Then you'll turn around and you'll have no freedom and you'll feel dumb. Because even if you disagree, you should agree with our right to say it, right? So anyway, you can prove what the Earth is. There's something called specular reflections. You have perfect reflections of, like, say, mountains on the water. That's impossible if the surface of the water is curving. Can't be any convexity or concavity to the surface, yet we have perfect reflections all over the Earth. Did you guys know that water always finds its level? That's why it's called sea level. That's why we put fluid in levels when we build things. So how is 70% of the surface of the Earth ocean water that's level? Is 70% of the ball flat? Huh. Did you guys know that you can't have pressure sitting next to a vacuum? That's literally impossible. It's called the second law of thermodynamics. Did you guys know that? Second law of thermodynamics. Necessitates entropy will increase, pressure will fill the available space, and systems seek spontaneous equilibrium. So simply, if you have soda and you open it up, it goes and it equalizes to the lower pressure around it.
How many vaccines is it going to take?
So, how do you have pressure sitting next to a vacuum? How do you have gas pressure sitting next to a near-perfect vacuum? You cannot. It's a violation of the second law of thermodynamics, which is a natural law. It's literally impossible. It would fill the vacuum. Oh man, this doesn't matter. It's called a natural law, by the way. It's not a theory. It's nothing that you can debate. It's something that's always true, happens forever, and it always will. It's a natural law. The second law of thermodynamics debunks the vacuum space. By the way, I debate astrophysics professors about this, and they didn't answer that question either. So don't feel bad. The aerospace engineers can't answer this question either.
Hey, let's go see if the chalk is still over there.
Can't have pressure without a container. It's actually in the word pressure. It presses on the walls of a container. The definition of gas pressure is the energy or force exerted on the walls of a container. The Earth is contained. There's something over top of the Earth. And don't worry, the U.S. military knows it too, because they declassified it and admitted there's a firmament on the Earth. You guys just haven't read it because you just watched TikTok all day. Hey, why did the U.S. that there was a firmament on the Earth? Why did the U.S. military have dozens of documents saying the Earth is flat?
Uh-oh.
Why does the government say the Earth's flat? Why does the military say the Earth's flat? That's good. This is getting awkward. Yeah, it is. Maybe, yeah. Last night.
We saw you last night.
What's up?
What's up? How are you doing?
Pretty good.
The Earth is still flat, though.
Yeah, it is.
Can I get a card? Thank you. I didn't have one. I know, but I didn't get one. I got one.
So yeah, they talk about the Earth. Just don't make this weird, you know. I'm just trying to help you. You guys get so mad at us for it. I don't know. It's weird. Really kind of weird. But so, the Earth's not a spinning ball in a vacuum. Let's take it step by step. The Earth is stationary. That's why you don't feel it moving. So you have two options. Either you don't feel the Earth moving because the Earth's not moving, or you don't feel the Earth moving, but it's actually spinning 1,000 miles per hour, and you just can't feel it because it's so big. That's a cool story. So Flat Earth says, well, the Earth's not moving. We have all empirical evidence. There's no detection of Earth movement ever in the history of mankind, no scientific experiment to ever verify it. It's never been done, and it never will be done. Did you know that? Nope, you didn't. So there's no proof for axial rotation in the history of mankind. So whenever we see this stuff, the sky move, you guys think we're crazy for not believing this story, which is that actually the stuff is sitting still, and it just looks like it's moving because we're spinning, but we just feel like we're still. That's a cool story. So when you see the sun move in the sky, Flat Earth says, you see the sun move in the sky. The Glober says the sun's actually sitting still in the sky, and you're just falling backwards 1,000 miles per hour during the sunset. So it makes the sun look like it's setting, but it's actually sitting still. You don't even know what your belief is. You've never even thought about it. So sunset, do you believe that actually the sun's sitting still and you're falling backwards miles per hour and it just makes the sun look like it's moving? Huh. That's weird. So, did you know the sun and the moon appear to be the exact same size in our sky, and Flat Earth just says they're the same size, and the Glober says, well, it looks like they're the same size, but actually, the sun is 400 times bigger than the moon, and just coincidentally, exactly 400 times further away, also like they're the same size. That's a cool story. Did you know that all the stars reset around Polaris for all recorded history? You can Google it. Time lapse of the star trails. Every single star trail does perfect circles around Polaris year after year for thousands of years. All the way back to 10,000 years ago, if that's even an accurate timeline, which I don't think it is, but I digress. So Egyptians built megalithic structures that still line up with the same stars they do today. They just reset year after year after year. We have 77 constellations because they're constant. 364 days from now, you come back and the stars will be exactly the same. They make perfect concentric circles around Polaris. Polaris is the North Pole star. It's in the center of the sky. All the other stars move around it. The star, the North Star, is directly over the center of the surface of the Earth, the North Pole. So the center of the sky is directly over the center of the surface of the Earth. And the sky just resets and does perfect circles around Polaris every single year for thousands and thousands of years. How's that work on a spinning ball shooting through space with rectangles and vectors? Does anyone know? See, the whole trick is to actually just make sure you didn't know any of it. Right? You watch media, you see there are some crazy people who think the Earth is flat in 2021, but you never even knew what the star trails were. You didn't even know that was a thing. The star trails do perfect circles around Polaris for all recorded history. Which is why they say that the stars are thousands of light years away, by the way. Believe it or not, they didn't go measure the star 1,000 light years away. Okay? They didn't measure it. It has to be at least a certain distance away that you wouldn't see it change in the sky for thousands of years. That's where they got the supposed thousands of light years away. And that's why it keeps changing. Just like the distance of the sun supposedly being 93 million miles away has changed like 6 times in the last 100 years. And you guys will call us like science deniers or something. If they come out tomorrow and change the distance to the sun, you'll immediately believe the new number. Immediately. Never mind. Thrilling discovery. The sun's actually 123 million miles away. You guys would immediately believe it. You see the problem? So anyway, you don't have to blindly believe stories of fairy tales about thousands of light years away, and oh, you see the stars, but they're actually not there anymore. There's no empirical evidence for any of it. And most people have been engineered to just say a certain word to all these questions. Most of them, they don't even like actually answer the question at all, but they just say the word gravity. So I'm like, oh, the Earth's spinning 1,000 miles per hour, we can't, yeah, gravity. Water always finds its level, then how is 70% of the surface of the Earth ocean water? Right? How is the water bending around the outside of a ball that spins in a vacuum? Gravity. How do you have gas pressure sitting next to a vacuum of space? But the second law of thermodynamics says it'll fill the vacuum. Gravity. But no one even knows what gravity is. Right? Did you know that gravity is just a theory and it's never been proven and there's no scientific evidence at all for it? It's called the theory of relativity. The theory of relativity. When you drop something, it goes down. It isn't because gravity pulls it down. It's because it's more dense in the air. When I drop a helium balloon, it goes up. Is it gravity proof? Is the helium balloon gravity proof?
It's good because people decide right here and now.
It's just less dense in the air. That's why it goes up. Wow, if something's less dense, it goes up, and if something's more dense, it goes down. Where's gravity at? So just so you know, the only supposed evidence for gravity is that if the Earth's a sphere, gravity has to exist. It explains omnidirectionality around the sphere. The theory of relativity has never been proven. Well, no one knows that. They just like, you don't believe in gravity? No, we don't believe in gravity. It's a theory that has no evidence. And I've actually read the theory of relativity. People here don't even know what that is. I'm trying to paint a bigger picture for you. Do you see the reoccurring theme here? I read the theory of relativity. No one here knows what it is. They'll say, you're so stupid, you don't believe in gravity. But they don't even know what it is, dude. I'm like, okay, this is the radius of the Earth. That's the curve at this rate based on geometry. You can go out and measure the surface of the Earth. You don't even know what the radius is, but you know that we're wrong. Do you not see the reoccurring theme
flat
here?
and level infinitely.
So you just gotta swallow your pride. It's easier to fool someone than to convince them that they have been fooled. Mark Twain. And most of you guys are actually just going to attack me because you're insecure intellectually and you don't know anything about it. So you're like, well, I'll take the easy route. I don't think most people think this guy's crazy, so I'll just say what they say. But you can't come debate me. You can't debate any of us. You can't come win the $100. I debate physicists. But it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. This guy's crazy. Earth's a ball. So, okay, we're just going to cover some of the basics here. Whenever you see a waterfall on the globe Earth, that means the waterfall is tilted backwards, actually going upside down. Oh man, I'm the conspiracy theorist. I don't think waterfalls are going upside down. Whenever you see the sun move in the sky, globe Earth is actually sitting still, and during a sunset you're falling backwards at 1,000 miles per hour, and it just makes the sun look like it's moving, but it's actually sitting still. I'm the conspiracy theorist because I don't believe that. I'm the conspiracy theorist because I don't believe I'm spinning 1,000 miles per hour right now.
Earth is flat, yeah.
I'm the conspiracy theorist because when we go out and it's clearer outside, we can see further, and when we can see further, we see things that are hundreds of miles away that should be blocked by Earth's curvature. So since I think that we're seeing what's really there, I'm the conspiracy theorist. You think that we saw the mountains from 273 miles away, but we weren't actually seeing the mountains. It was just a mirage, and they were lifted up 3 miles, and then stopped right where it would make it look like the Earth is flat. And if we don't believe that, we're the conspiracy theorists. Did you guys know that your side can't even explain 95% of the quote-unquote universe in 2021? The theory of relativity is 95% off. 95% wrong. It's called dark matter and dark energy. It's 95% wrong. So you guys don't know any of this, but who cares? Just make fun of us. Just make fun of us. It'll make the Earth a ball, I promise. And you're actually defending a governmental agency that worked with Nazis. And you didn't even know that either, but it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. It's just much easier to make fun of us. You guys don't see it. I bet when people walked around back in time in Germany, they were like, I think the government's trying to take over. We should chill out. There were people like you guys that were, you're a conspiracy theorist. Shut up, you're a conspiracy theorist. And then what happened? Yeah. So no, I don't blindly weave stories from Nazis and governmental agencies. I think that's stupid. The government always lies. Hey, do you guys know that when you watch the mainstream news, you're watching the CIA? I'm gonna say it again, let everyone laugh. When you watch the mainstream news, you're actually watching the CIA. Okay, now I'll get to hit you. Well, it's actually declassified. The U.S. military has admitted this themselves. It's called Operation Mockingbird. Huh. And I do this to make a point, right? It sounds crazy when you hear it, but that doesn't change the facts. The military has declassified documents admitting that the CIA infiltrated the mainstream media to control the public narrative after security purposes. It's Operation Mockingbird. And in fact, the CIA representative was asked about this in Congress. He said, wait, are you saying that the news anchors are CIA agents? And he said, we need to continue this conversation behind closed doors. So you guys are watching the news every day, but you're watching the CIA. So that's getting weird. So you wake up every morning to get your dress coat, there's CIA. What does CNN say I have to wear today? What does CNN say I have to be in by a certain time? What's my curfew according to the CNN? Oh man, did the CIA say we're going back into lockdown? So you guys think we're not believing in the government? You know the same government that put fluoride in your water and said it's to make sure you have pretty teeth, even though fluoride's a neurotoxin, it's also an ingredient in rat poison? Did you guys know fluoride's in rat poison? That's how we know it's safe to consume it and give it to infants, because that's what you have in rat poison. It's a neurotoxin. You know, the same government that lied about Vietnam. You guys heard about the Vietnam War? At the time, no one wanted to go to the Vietnam War. There were tons of American citizens protesting in the streets. We don't want to go to war. We don't want to go to war. So they had to find a way to brainwash the U.S. into going to war. So then they did a false flag. It was called the Gulf of Tonkin, where apparently our ship exploded because Vietnam attacked. So they came out and they told the U.S., look, Vietnam attacked our ship. Now we have to go to war with them, right? Well, they've since come out and admitted that Vietnam did not attack our ship. We actually blew up our own ship and made it look like it was Vietnam so we could go to war. That sounds like a group of people we can trust. I'm just giving some examples of how ridiculous it is to blindly believe the government. You know, the same government that said that there were weapons of mass destruction in the Middle East. Then they came out and said, oh, never mind, there aren't any weapons of mass destruction, but we're going to stay over there for 30 more years anyway. Yeah, the same government that lied about 9/11. They told you that there was a paper passport that popped out of a fire explosion. Paper pops out of fire, that's how that works. And it floated down completely unscathed, and it showed us where the bad guy was, and it was coincidentally found by an FBI agent. And on the same day as 9/11, at the same time in the morning, the U.S. military was running a drill imitating in case someone hijacked planes and tried to run them into the towers. That's why they didn't notice that the planes were off route. They thought it was the drill that was coincidentally going on at the same time on the same day. You guys think that's just a coincidence? You know, 9/11, where the day before, the U.S. military came out and said there were $2.1 trillion of taxpayers' money missing. And then the very next day, the area of the Pentagon that had that money documented got hit by a plane. And so they lost all the evidence the very next day after they admitted it to the U.S. public. So they lied about 9/11 and passed the Patriot Act, the most invasive legislation ever passed in American history. They lied about Vietnam War. They lied about the Tuskegee experiment. They lied about fluoride in your being a neurotoxin, right? But they wouldn't lie about anything else. NASA is the one exception. NASA is the part of the government that doesn't lie, though. The CIA lied to you guys and took over the news. But, you know, it's this, the number one trafficker of drugs in the world. So anyway, all that just to make a point, the government always lies. It's actually inherent in their job description to lie to you. That's like for national security purposes, they have to compartmentalize and they have to keep secrets. So, of course the government lies. That's their job description. So anyway, yeah, NASA's just like all the rest of the government, and it just lies. And NASA actually translates in Hebrew to lift up and to deceive. Has a snake tone going through their logo. Admittedly on record, works with Nazis. And supposedly the Nazis are the one that... we don't care if you don't care. You're triggered. So anyway, NASA means in Hebrew to deceive, to lift up and to deceive. They admittedly worked with Nazis in the 60s.
What's up?
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
Vandalism.
Yeah, I want it, so
Arrest
I can
that
tell them what
baseball.
the Earth's not.
Damn, that was kind of cool.
Someone said that's gravity?
Gravity!
That's gravity, except that it's not, and the Earth is just, the ball is just more dense than the air, but whatever. Whatever, I don't have to talk about density, I can just say my God's name, gravity. It's like it's your God. Any question you can't answer, just call out to the deity of gravity. Did you know there's $1 million reward to anyone that can show water bending around the outside of a sphere? $1 million reward. It's been available for 2 years and no one's ever been able to get it. Do you know that someone tried to actually win $10,000 because a flat earther challenged for proof of a globe Earth? You'll win 10 grand. They took them to court, and the court ruled on behalf of flat Earth and said there's no empirical evidence the Earth's a globe. 2 times.
Souvenir.
So why did the court say that there was no evidence of globe Earth? 2 times. There is no evidence. The U.S. military admits the Earth is flat. The U.S. governmental court systems, they rule on behalf of flat Earth.
We should all sign the baseball and then...
This is getting weird. We should just sign and give it to them as a souvenir.
No,
This is not this baseball.
We're going to give it to you. We're all going to sign and give it to you guys.
So yeah, trust me, I know it sounds crazy, but you got to look into it. And so NASA is just a lying agency. It's like the rest of the government. And then people started finding out that NASA lies because you can access live streams and there's bubbles in space. Hey, how are there bubbles in space? Yeah, so you can watch their ISS spacewalks. Woo, the Earth is flat. Woo. So you can actually see bubbles in space. How's that work? Doesn't matter. Did you know on the ISS their hands go coffee cups and do lemons and do mics and they glitch out? They get picked up on faucets. So yeah, I'm going to take a break and drink of water. Here's the conclusion. They want the Earth, you can measure the surface, it's not curving, you can prove it, and this is why it's heavily censored by the government, admittedly so in America's such a free country that the government gets to decide what we're allowed to talk about. That's how free speech works. The Earth is geocentric. That means the center of everything, hence all the stars doing perfect circles around Polaris and resetting for all recorded history, over the center of the surface of the Earth. Here's geocentric. That means the center of everything, which means it had to be created. I mean, if it's the center of everything that exists, how did it get there? Good luck with that one. It's also stationary, of course, meaning not moving, hence why you feel like you're moving. There's no detected movement ever. Whenever someone flies a plane, they don't have to assume the Earth is 1,000 miles per hour beneath them. They don't have to dip their nose down, assuming the Earth is dropping 8 inches per mile square beneath them. You know, so that's why you don't feel the Earth spinning, is because it's not spinning. And the Earth is flat. We have mountains and valleys. It's a topographical plane. There's something called the Antarctic Treaty. They drew a circle around you. They don't let you go outside of it. They're hiding potentially tons of land, tons of resources. They said, be good slaves, stay in your circle. And in 2021, the reason it works so well is most of the slaves don't even know the circle exists. So there you go. There's a conclusion. Wake up before it's too late. And if you haven't noticed, this has implications like every major world country is working together. So as you argue about China and Russia and America, Joe Biden and Donald Trump, it's government versus people. And that's why the whole world agreed that they're going to shut down the same day and give you curfews and give you lockdowns. You guys have just complied to all of it. Just wear a mask for 2 weeks and we'll get back to normal. Never mind, a year and a half. Never mind. You know who else has lockdowns? Prisons do. I guess that my friends died overseas, so Boomer could tell me I have to have curfews and lockdowns. What a clown world. So we should all stand together before it's too late. Stop being a bunch of slaves. You know who else they used to make wear masks? It's slaves. I guess now we have equality of slavery. I guess we fought against the atrocity of slavery just so that we could turn around and all be slaves. So we're trying to wake you up before it's too late. I'm going to take a break. I need to drink some water, but yeah, we saw mountains from 273 miles away. You can debunk the globe numerous different ways.
They haven't even started the baseball game yet. Have they? They got the llamas out.
It's in between innings, maybe that.
Oh.
What do they do? They had llamas running around the bases.
Got to bring out the llamas.
Llama race.
Everyone loves llamas.
Oh, yeah.
They got to bring them out. He waved at us.
Up on the balcony.
Yeah.
Never went to the moon, never stayed to state. Earth is infinitely flat and level. They're hiding more land from us.
We've been lied to.
Wake up.
Earth is flat. Government lies. They always lie.
How many booster shots is it going to take? It's great too because I'm standing right here, so I'm not in view. How dare you call me a woman? I'm a man.
It's ma'am.
Ma'am.
It's ma'am.
Yeah, I mean, how many of these police officers do you think want to like enforce things? Probably the youngsters, the younger generation more than the older.